digging up mysterious pipes that I don't know what they are, and yeah, that's the situation I'm in now. They always say like, "Oh, call 811 before you dig," and I did that, but turns out that's only for like the, from your water and gas meter to the street. Anything
Oh.
anything beyond that, that's your problem.
Are,
And so that is currently my problem.
are these wires, are these pipes connected to anything, or are they just...
I don't know. I'm digging up like a planter right now, and yeah, it's just full of old ass rusty pipes. And this is a long planter. It's like 30 feet long. I've been doing a lot of digging, and I was like hoping these things, they just end maybe, but each end of these pipes goes under concrete, so I don't know where they fucking go. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just gonna get a roll of duct tape, a lighter, and a hacksaw,
Yeah.
and just crack one of them open and see what happens.
Hey, there's only one way to find out, right?
And yeah, and a wet rag, but no power tools. Just give it a nice little crack and smell what's going on in there.
Give it a nice little whack.
I'm like almost like they are not in a place that makes sense that they would be actively full of anything, but I just don't fucking know. This is one of the joys of homeownership, is just that this is on me. This is my fucking problem.
You live in quite an old house, don't you? So maybe it's like, I don't know, the secret like hidden LA. It's just ancient infrastructure that hasn't been connected to anything for a very long time. All the pipes are pure lead.
Probably, like, yeah, I live in like one of the first like suburbs of LA. Like,
interesting.
There was downtown LA, and then like they built this neighborhood for like so people could get out of the big city, but it's like not far from downtown. But yeah, like, no, I did another project in my backyard, and I found probably like I was building a retaining wall, and just in the process of digging holes to put posts in, I pulled up maybe like 100 bricks. I'd get like 6 inches down, and I'd hit another brick, and then it'd be just a very awkward stick my entire fucking arm in the hole and try to jiggle some brick free and get another 6 inches down. Oh, another brick.
That is truly fascinating.
Yeah, so they were just tossing we have all these bricks that we didn't use. I don't know, bury them.
So it's not like a structure or anything. It's just miscellaneous, just bricks. Just
individual bricks.
Time.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's literally just it's not my problem. Someone 120 years from now will they'll deal with it.
Is that the time scale we're working at? Was it like 120 years ago that this lot was cultivated? That's great. That's cool.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
I was dealing with something. So where I live, it's like on a hill, because we live next to a bunch of like canyons and shit, and it's just a hill that's been entirely like removed. Like, my backyard used to be probably like 20, 30, maybe even more feet underground. So it's just like it's just shale and like highly compacted dirt. But also, the people that lived here before us were like, I don't know, they wanted to put a pool in or something, so there's this big like cement like backyard that's all fucking cracked because it's just one giant slab, and you know, doesn't move. horrifyingly cracked too. Like we got like 2-3 inches of severance there. But so I was digging. So I was digging the other day. I was digging about like 3 feet deep, and I was just unearthing like I guess shit from like abandoned pool project. This like abandoned pool. So I was just finding garbage, like sometimes actual literal garbage. I found like a little Power Rangers figure. It was like 2 feet underground. I was finding so many like beyond rusted like spikes, like little like tent pole spikes. I presume there was like some sort of survey marker there, because I also unearthed this really long plastic wire. It's not like it's just literally just a purely plastic wire, and I don't know what the fuck they were doing with all this stuff. It's a mystery, truly.
Yeah. It's there's just no way to know.
But it's inherently satisfying, just like digging a hole, right? Just
I love it. It's people talk about touching grass. No, touch dirt.
Dig
You
hole.
gotta touch dirt.
Touch grass, meet dig hole. Dig a hole right through that fucking grass. I
It's
bought
fucking primal.
I've got like a tactical pickaxe. It's like a polymer grip pickaxe. It's great. And because our dirt is just so fucking just tight, and there's like no usable soil beyond like the 2 inches that we've installed there. Like I've got like pickaxe through like dirt that's so solidified it just like looks like rock, but it's completely loose.
That's that California clay. I have like parts of my yard that were like that, but like thankfully not the whole thing. But yeah, just solid as a rock.
Yeah, I wonder how like that. I mean, I don't know shit about like geology. I wonder how the formation's different there, because we are both in California, but we are also in very different places. Right?
Yeah.
What's like your elevation? Like, how high up are you roughly? I'm at like 1, 2, 3, 4, almost perfectly.
I actually have no idea. I mean,
Nice.
probably. I mean, LA does gradually elevate.
It's got a little. I know it's got. Well, I guess this is my just like, my lack of knowledge of LA, because like, oh yeah, I forgot, all like the valley is like where everyone lives, and like anything that's slightly elevated, that's where all the rich people are. So I'm guessing you're not like elevated like that.
I'm not up in the hills, but I am sort of in hill country, and I have previously looked at like climate change maps, and where I live is, I think, pretty good. Like,
oh great,
it'll still be dry in 100 years, so
you got
I
water?
guess I've got some elevation.
do you have water? Is water available in your immediate vicinity?
No.
No.
I mean, I live near the river, but it's not a real river. It's a concrete, like,
concrete
monstrosity. Yeah.
Is it true that the river is the real river now is just underneath that? Is that true? I heard that somewhere, and I've been repeating that to people for well over a decade, and I don't actually know if it's true.
I mean, there might be like a groundwater vein, but no, historically, like, since as long as anyone can remember, the LA River, which is just part of the Colorado River, it's a desert river, so that means like once a year it's an actual river, and the rest of the time it's a creek.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, you still get like every 10 years, every 20 years, every 100 years, like a fluke storm, and so no one built anything anywhere near the river for a very long time, because like it would all just eventually get just completely fucking destroyed. So they built that's what they built the LA River to do, is just like flush the water out to sea as quickly as possible, which short term, like, it allowed them to develop the land around the river where they previously couldn't, but it also means there's no floodplains anymore. It used to be very fertile land. There was like vineyards and farms all along the LA River, and like no, can't fucking do that anymore.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because like that's one of the big features of California is that like we've got like one of, if not like the most fertile farmland in the world. Like some places have like 12 feet of like arable soil or something like that, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because this whole place is just a dried swamp. Just the vast majority of California is just a former swamp that is just dried out and just has millions upon millions of years of deposited resources. Yeah,
but yeah,
you know, we had Do Not Eat on last time. This would have been a great. This would have been a good thing to ask him about.
Yeah, he does the like city skylines videos.
Yeah. We had a great time with him on. He said he wanted to come back. I'm looking forward to having him back. He probably would have come back on for this episode actually, but I didn't want to ask him because we like just had him back on. And I'm like, oh, I can't ask someone to come on twice in a row. That's pushing. Even if they did have a good time, that's pushing it. And so here we are.
Oh well, that's fine.
Everyone's at PAX. Brian died. Not really. Zotz, I think it's also Labor Day weekend. I didn't realize, and so Zotz is visiting family, I believe. So you know, while the adults are away, the E team will play. That's right. Just invented it. Eric and Elliot.
Oh
the
yeah,
E team.
The E team.
All right,
fifth choice.
I'm sure someone in there. I'm sure somewhere in there there was something funny or interesting enough to start off on. So we play the intro, and hey, look at that! Welcome to Left Track, your leftist Star Trek podcast. I'm Eric. I'm a Wonder Kid. I'm just so good at science. I'm a gifted child. Everyone's telling me all my life, oh my goodness, Eric, you're so good at science. You're gonna do so many great things. But all these expectations, they've caused me to create a monster. And I am joined by Elliot.
Hello. Yeah, you're so precocious.
You're a formerly jaded Wonder Kid.
Is it just bad luck that like I feel like every episode? This is my third time on. Every time I've come on, it's been a fucking Wesley episode.
That is just bad luck.
Also, I believe every time I've come on has involved an episode where, the Starfleet computer's acting a little funny.
What was the last one, if you recall?
I don't recall at all. The only thing I remember is when they went to the planet Fuck, and Wesley fucked it all up.
Oh, that was like the first. Oh yeah.
That was season 1, I think, and like that one, as bad as it was memorable. The last time I came on, I think it was season 2, and I don't recall anything.
I think for that one you did like this picture of doing like the soy face pointing, and I used that for the for the
that's a good thumbnail.
And so I don't actually remember which one it was because I just have that as the thumbnail.
But I don't know. This you said things get good in season 3.
Oh,
you claimed that.
We have actually been saying that for a while.
Maybe they gradually get good in season 3, but I was not impressed, especially as like maybe this is a modern day thing, but like shows today, the season opener, like that's where you fire on all cylinders, like that's where you try to get people hooked, and this did not feel like a season premiere at all.
Well, you see, this
is some mid-season shit. This is some filler shit.
The writers were on strike, so they weren't. Well, no, they had. So the last episode we did, the one we had Do Not Eat on for, was a flashback episode because the season had to end early because of the 1989 writers' strike. And that one, and that was a real blast. And so the writers had been on strike, so they're not used to writing. It's their first time in a while.
They're a little bit rusty.
Yeah, they're just a little rusty. You can't blame them too much for it. This is yeah, I don't know. I like okay, so oh my god. So we've been telling Zot because Zot doesn't know the show. We've been telling Zot like, okay, this is where it starts getting good, and then demonstrably, like every single time we start doing that, it just slips back into the same shit. Now I will say the average has been raised significantly. So that is there. Like the dialogue scenes and kind of everything else is there. The interpersonal communication, like everyone acts like more of a human than they used to. So on like a average level, it's better. But like this one sucked. This one.
Yeah, this one didn't even. So like in every other one, okay, yeah, I just remembered another one that we saw was about like the scientist who's like having like space Alzheimer's that's making him horny. But yeah, every other one we've watched has had like at least a good performance from like the guest actor. Like really, they bring in some real thespians as their guest actors, and the one on this one, I'm like, I just not feeling it.
Yeah, who is this guy? Who I recognize him so much, and I really recognize him for something. Do you know who the fuck this is? Do you know who this guy is?
No, he kind of looks like Dave Thomas from SCTV, but he would have been younger than that at this point.
Where's the Ken? His name's Ken Jenkins. What the fuck do I recognize Ken Jenkins from? Oh, he's the mean doctor on Scrubs.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Man, it's been a fucking long time since I've thought about Scrubs. He's the guy from Scrubs.
I mean, I've probably only seen like a handful of episodes of Scrubs, but I definitely immediately made that connection when you said so. So okay, so he is a good actor.
Yeah,
it was just the role in this episode. I don't know. The tortured genius thing. They seem to do that a lot in this show.
They do it with Wesley a lot too.
Yeah,
like because he's Gene Roddenberry's like self-insert character.
It's so lame. He is so lame.
Yeah.
I don't like him. And also, this episode raised questions about my assumptions about his whole deal. There are other children on this ship.
Yeah. Oh,
what the fuck?
The Enterprise has families on board.
Wait.
So the Enterprise is, and I kind of want this to stand on its own because like it's weird, but I guess we're supposed to understand that and it's explicit that the Enterprise is not like a military ship; it's an exploration ship, and so people bring their families along. It's like a city out in space. There's like 1,000 people on board, and like half of those people are like non-commissioned officers, not even like scientists. They're just people hanging out. They're working the bar. They're just, I don't know, being people's family. They're pursuing their own interests and not like directly members of Starfleet. I don't know if it's actually half. I don't know what the ratio is.
I had no idea that there were cool teens on the ship. I assumed Wesley got dragged along by his mom, who, after the death of her husband, became a helicopter mom who, just needed to have her boy by her side before eventually abandoning him herself.
I don't remember if you were on for in season 2, but season 2 was the redheaded doctor. Her name's Beverly Crusher.
She was gone.
She's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Because she left because she needed to be the head of Starfleet Medical, which is in the universe a very prestigious position that they probably retconned because they just said in this one they're like, oh, she went to go work for Starfleet for a year and abandoned her child.
Yeah, that's like I need to leave this hospital to go be Anthony Fauci for like 6 months, and I'll be right back. You know, just doing my rounds.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, like literally, yeah, like Starfleet. That's yeah. I want to go. That's a great analogy. And then he goes back to, I don't know, work on like an aircraft carrier as like the chief of surgery or something.
People always love going and taking on highly important administrative roles and then just returning to their previous job.
Yeah, it is like mentioned like in a line, because in reality she quit the show because of just how awfully they were all treated, which we've talked about a few times. I mean, everyone was getting treated like shit all the fucking time, especially the female actors. Like this one, I like the story with Denise Crosby as Tasha Yar is famous, but there's this one where, oh my god, this is one story of Marina Sirtis, the actor that plays Troy, like walks into like, I don't remember who was there, I'm just gonna assume it's like Rick Berman, and they were like, your tits ain't big enough, yeah, let's see how they look, let's stuff them, and they start like stuffing shit into her bra.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, I don't, it's really bad. If it's not that bad, it's might as well be that bad.
That's fucked up, especially because she's already banging.
She's a very attractive lady.
Yeah. She don't need to be stuffing anything in there. She looks great.
Your tits aren't big enough, sugar. We gotta try stuffing them. Let's see how it works on the camera.
If I was running this show, I'd be like, Marina, come to my office. Your tits look great. We don't need to change anything about those tits. These tits are mine. Bring me my tits. Oh wait, no, sorry, that was Rudy Giuliani. I got him mixed up with
sometimes you
Rick
channel
Berman.
Rudy Giuliani.
It happens. Ever since I heard I've come to claim my tits, like that's another one of those phrases that's gonna be like embedded in my mind long after I've forgotten like the names of all my family members.
Oh, that's how it starts too, because you know what,
claim
Rudy
my
Giuliani
tits
is like that because he heard some old person say that when in the throes of Alzheimer's, and now you're in the throes of Alzheimer's, you're gonna be, I need those tits are mine. Let me claim those tits.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last words out. It's gonna be my rosebud. Either that or like all my apes gone.
That's gonna be a real lingering one. I think that's you know that's part of our culture forever, I think. Along with I did everything right and they indicted me.
Yeah, it's a classic.
I love the world we live in. It's really funny.
It is funny from like a detached perspective.
Yeah,
it's all very silly.
That's why audience, you need to use ironic humor in order to cope with our grim reality. Just fully detach from everything you care about. It's really good for your mental health. That's the left track promise.
Yeah.
So okay, well, fuck. So here's the problem. So the last time we had like nothing to talk about, and this time there's too much to talk about with this fucking episode. So
yeah, this is also another one that has aged very poorly, like technology wise. Where I think they thought they had a really clever like sci-fi concept, which like it does not make any sense. Just from like a basic tech understanding today.
Yep.
Like it's like someone told one of the writers about the concept of a computer virus in the year 1989, and not knowing anything beyond just that phrase, they created their entire like original definition of what that might be like.
Was that the last one you were on? The one where they had a computer virus and invented and had to like. Because that did happen. That was in a previous episode where
I think that was So I think I watched that. And so this one's like the same thing, where it's like
basically the same.
literal microscopic nanobots infecting a computer the way bacteria infects the human body.
Yeah, because it's like it's very strange. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I guess we'll into it. So the episode starts, and gentle music plays as we watch the Enterprise just kind of drift through space, and we cut to like a busy little science room with a bunch of little science things sitting around as we get a zoom in on Wesley with his fucking acne-ridden face because he's finally a teenager, but he gets called away to do science stuff on the bridge. And maybe it's because I stopped watching it on Netflix and now I'm watching it on Paramount because they just finally took it off of Netflix. But I think like the scans are better. Like maybe like the Paramount's using like the 4K scans and Netflix wasn't. But I'm really noticing a lot of like little things, like especially people's skin. People's skin is much more apparent when I'm watching on Paramount, and it's
that is a problem with these. I mean, they filmed these assuming no one would ever see that level of detail. Like all the props and the costumes too. Like you can just really see like where the zippers are and like
yeah.
Like everything just kind of looks fucking shitty because this was never intended to be seen in anything beyond like a 25-inch CRT.
One that is hilarious, and even now it's hard for me to like notice unless I'm looking, and then when I look, I notice it basically 100% of the time. Anytime there's a room with like panels around, they've just taped like a little black piece of felt to the panel because there was going to be like a light glare into the camera. And so if you look, and I'm sure it was in this episode too. Audience, if you're one person that watches Star Trek, maybe even if you're one of those psychos that watches through Star Trek with Left Track, I know there's a couple of you are out there and have commented about this, and I'm very sorry. This. So like you look into the background and there's like these little pieces of like felt squares painted on everything, and they're so apparent. It's just like, why haven't I ever noticed this before? Because they get a little bit better at hiding them later on, but they are everywhere. Like Riker will, like, there's a great one where Riker is like is coming like into the Picard's ready room, and there's just like a big black cube behind him. It's like you can see the corners of like a black cube just sitting on the just sitting in the background, and presumably that there's a lot of lights on a set like this. You don't want a lot of shiny reflective surfaces.
Yeah.
You don't want them.
They did what they had to do. Assuming that it would just look, in at 320p, it would just look like part of the set. But now
it's
it
glorious
like
4K. You can see Wesley, every fucking like infected pore on Will Wheaton's face.
I don't know if like do I hate Wesley because of the character, or do I hate him because I associate him with the actor Will Wheaton?
Well, Will Wheaton is, I think, inseparable from Wesley. Like, it's part of his identity. I think Will Wheaton became insufferable because of Wesley Crusher, and thus, it's like a feedback loop of cringe. And I mean, he's like a perfectly nice guy, surely, but like, I mean, he's definitely, he's a little soy facer. He's a little soy facing guy, anyone that regularly guest stars on The Big Bang Theory, there's
it's like that there's a whole generation of like the original like when nerd culture first started like becoming a thing of its own. Just like pretty much everyone associated with the early days of that ended up being cringe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every like popular scientist too.
I'll say Kevin Pereira turned out all right though. I've met him a few times and he's pretty normal.
That sounds. Wait, who's Kevin Pereira again? That sounds.
He was Attack of the Show.
It's Attack of the Show. Yes, with Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Didn't she like become like a famous actor or something? She like.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what she's been in lately, but there was a while there where she was in a ton of stuff.
Oh, hey, good for her. Gamers rise up, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
oh my fucking god. So yeah, I took too many notes because I was like, yeah, I like mad watch. Whenever I get mad at an episode, which happens a lot, I just take way too many fucking notes. The premise of this episode, the basic premise is, before the premise changes radically, is, oh hey, there's a big red giant that's sucking up all the shit in its surface. A neutron star is like orbiting a red giant, and it's sucking up all of its gas, and then it's gonna explode. It happens like exactly the same amount of time every single time, which it's like clockwork. It's like, oh, it's one of the only predictable things in the universe. It's like, no, that's not true. I'm not.
It's the old faithful of the stars.
Like literally, right?
I think they say that in the episode.
Do they? I was expecting them to say it, and then I
Yeah.
missed it. But perhaps I just missed it because I was yelling into my notes app and I wasn't actually watching the show. Like pulsars are a thing. Anyway, no, I'm not doing it. So Picard comes out of his ready room. Mr. Scientist Man is here. Picard comes out of his ready room. Is like, hey, do you want to inspect your egg before you insert it? And it's going to be a lot of like very very sensual talk about explosions in eggs. Yeah, and baseball. He's like, oh no, the egg is my baby. I don't give a fuck about it. Just throw it out there. But oh god, something goes horribly wrong. Everyone's shaking and convulsing onto the bridge. Fun little fact about that. So commonly in Star Trek, something will go wrong and everyone's got to like, oh god, the ship's fucking exploding, and all the actors like fling themselves around as the camera is shaking. And so how that looks on set is there's like a director.
Yeah, I've seen these videos.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It's very funny.
No, they're like, it's like a 1. It's like, 7. Everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, Picard and Riker, like I've seen examples of this where they're very much like in sync with each other in a way that's like actually, like that's a skill right there. These guys are moving, because if you tell a room full of people, oh, it's an earthquake, they're going to be moving in all sorts of different directions. That's not how it would be. So after doing that so many times, they got pretty good at it.
Especially since this is all being filmed in California. We're all from California. We know what earthquakes be like. Yeah, we can spot the differences. We're like,
I haven't actually felt an earthquake in like 20 years.
I live up in like the foothills, so we don't actually really get a lot of earthquakes. The only time in my life I've ever felt an earthquake was when I was in vacation on Fort Bragg, and it was like a big one. It was like a short one, but it was like a big one. Shit was shaking, and then everyone just kind of like looked at each other like, "Oh, it's happening." It's like the last thing you want to do in an earthquake. Like nobody
Wow.
went to cover. Wow, look at this. With my girlfriend's like entire family. I was right next to like a gigantic window. It was not a good idea. Not a lot of earthquakes in California, believe it or not. But
I mean, they're happening constantly, but most of them you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, I've slept through the most that I've ever heard of.
And I apparently the most recent one. There's been a couple recently where my wife's like, "Did you feel that earthquake?" I was like, "What?" we're in the same house, so like I'm just very not attentive to anything, I guess.
A slight well, you get used to it, right? Well, it's like
I got my sea legs.
It's like how some people can especially if they have like injuries or some sort of like implant or something, they can sense like, oh, a storm's coming. You get some people just have that for earthquakes. They have stone sense like the dwarves do in D&D. Anyway, oh my god, the Enterprise is shaking around like it's a 7. Oh my god, one of the guys falls down and he has to go to sick bay, like the cop being thrown out of that slide. And the egg is like starts exploding, fog machine. They're doing a bunch of science things to make it stop happening, but like the Enterprise ends up heading right for like the particle stream, even though it's like really wispy and it's literally just like hydrogen or helium or something. But the Enterprise like slides into it and it splashes like a car drifting into a ditch. It's they like hit the particle stream. I don't. They like they hit some gas and they're like, oh, we just ran into an embankment. Like, what? Okay.
I hope they have insurance.
Yeah, seriously. Oh god, I just realized I have this fucking stupid. Yeah, I fixed it. Yeah. Oh god, what's Starfleet insurance gonna think about this one? The Dr. Crusher is like, oh, I was at Starfleet Medical for a year. We talked about that. She was the head of Starfleet. I guess that got wrecked. She's the head of Starfleet Medical. That's fucking god. She was Anthony.
But
Fauci.
she was sent home due to allegations.
And she was sent home for trying to give people too many vaccines.
Yeah.
No one needs vaccines in the future because there's no diseases, except for when they do get diseases. But those are like alien diseases. No diseases on Earth. So vaccinating's not necessary. And so the guest star, who's the mean doctor from Scrubs, I keep saying the mean doctor, but they call the janitor the mean janitor on that. And I think I'm kind of like whatever. He's the old doctor from Scrubs, and he's talking to Wesley. He's like, hey Wesley, do you ever just fucking chill for a goddamn second? Wesley's like, no, I do science all day. I'm 12 years old. Picard, the Crusher goes up to Picard and is like, I'm very concerned that my child is a fucking nerd.
Dork.
Luke.
I think I have a dork son.
I think my son's a little fucking loser. How can we solve this? And Picard's like, well, we're on a science ship, right? He should be a little nerd. And Crusher's like, I want to know about my kid. And then she quickly realizes that he's a wet blanket. He's 17 apparently, and like he's like, oh, what were you doing when you were 17? And Picard's like, oh, I was getting fucking stabbed through the back. My heart was replaced because I got into a bar fight where some orc impaled me with a sword. And I don't know if he was actually 17 at this point. Then Crusher's like, oh, I was getting into trouble too. The guest star is like, oh, I've got my fucking egg. He calls Wesley a wunderkid, which
Wunderkind.
We've been calling Wesley a wunderkid for so long, like as derogatory, and then they
Wunderkind, derogatory,
and then they just say it. and then they just say it. And I don't remember if I was using that term because they just say it, but sure as fuck they just say it. They do some gifted kid discourse. It's like, the expectations are too high on me, but I have ADHD, and oh, thank God there's fucking red alert happening. Oh my, stupid! I'm not gonna water. It already rained today. I'm sorry. I got a reminder to water for myself. Fuck you, Eric. I'm not gonna go water. So Worf's like, oh god, there's a Borg vessel closing, but they can't see it, and then suddenly it's gone, and Data speculates, a synthetically generated image appeared on our screen. I'm sorry, I installed Midjourney on this computer. I didn't know it was affecting anything. And then Riker's like, our computer was daydreaming? That's classic Star Trek. Classic Star Trek, you explain like a science thing, and then some idiot goes, oh, it's like an air filling up a balloon. It's like too much air in a balloon. A bunch of shit's going on. The computer starts playing chess over the loudspeakers with itself. The impulse engines explodes. Data's like, this is the first time this happened in 75 years. The science guy's like, oh, I don't care if the ship's gonna get crushed in a neutron star. We're gonna do some science, goddammit. Picard goes, no. The guy turns to Troy and he's like, hey, turn your telepathy beam off, lady. And he storms out of the room, and sure enough, Troy indeed did have her telepathy beam on him and starts psychoanalyzing him, talking about how the thing that he's worked on his entire adult life is actually really important to him. Well, thanks, Troy.
There's a lot of like pathologizing of this guy in this episode where I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of right.
He's kind of right. Like many bad guys in Star Trek, He's kind of right. Like, so Wesley's down with Geordi, and here's where we figure out the crisis going on here. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and Geordi is like, oh, it looks like someone's tearing a bunch of wires out, if I don't know better. And it turns out Wesley, his version of adolescent rebellion, it's revealed all along, is going just completely feral, just totally goblin mode. He's crawling around the turbo lifts, and he's ripping out copper wires and fiber optic cable. We immediately cut to a scene where he's crawling through 10-4 and he's trying to search for more delicate machinery to rip out of the walls with his teeth, but Guinan's there. Guinan discovers him and then starts trying to kill him by beaming him in the head with a belt buckle. We find out in Star Trek Picard that she worked and lived in like a bar in San Francisco, so she's just used to battling rats for decades upon decades. Apparently, what actually happened is which was revealed by Wesley talking to Guinan, is that Wesley had the amazing idea of inventing machine learning. He's like, what if we create two artificial neurons and let them create like a network of neurons, and then just start doing shit with it. But the actual thing is like, oh my god, he's supposed to be like a fucking genius mad science kid because he did science too good.
He's a Dr. Frankenstein.
He's a real Dr. Frankenstein, literally said at the end of this fucking scene. Yeah. And it's like, oh, what if machines could work together? Bravo.
Yeah, I find it difficult to believe that this child is the first one to ever consider such a thing.
Yeah, because when he's explaining an experiment, he's like, well, I put two nanites next to each other and was like, what if they work together? And it's like, what? And hey, you know what? We'll get to that. They try to push the egg out, and then fucking Stars and Stripes Forever starts playing. Ba 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 da ba 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 ba. It's a fucking banger. It's blasting full volume throughout the shit. Hell yeah, America, bitch! We're getting all the aliens hooked on Stars and Stripes Forever. We cut through the ship, and every single crew member in all the hallways, all their quarters, are just wildly headbanging as this music is just fucking popping off.
They love it. They love America.
everyone loves America. Honest to God, banger. Are we gonna get copyright struck from America? Can we play some Stars and Stripes Forever here? Ba 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 da ba 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 ba.
I believe it's in the public domain. That's America's song.
It's gotta be. And honestly, it's a killer. It's a killer.
It's pretty good.
It goes so hard. It's a fucking pop. The guy's so pissed. He's like, oh my god, I'm listening to Stars and Stripes Forever. My invention, the egg. I just looked it up on Google, and it turns out that's a slang for a useless piece of shit. It's like, oh no, I accidentally did poetry with my science stuff. And this is going to be Star Trek's like long-running thing, which is a continuing Deep Space Nine, that society has evolved beyond the need for baseball. It was just too slow.
Okay, yeah. Hold on. So canonically, baseball
stopped existing like 200
went
years ago.
extinct as a sport
because it was too boring.
What?
That's multiple series.
So. I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable about Major League Baseball. Like, was there a decline in viewership or something around the late 80s that would lead people to predict this? Because it's like, oh yeah, too much fast food and blah blah blah, and it's just like, what? Like, baseball is just still like one of the most popular sports in the country.
I think it was like the public acknowledgement of like Moneyball and like statistics and stuff. They're like, aha, you see, baseball is basically just math, which means of course that it's going to be too boring for anyone to look at going into the future. So it's gonna, I don't know, cease existing in like 100 years.
But it's okay, because this guy, he's one of those people that can rotate a fucking apple in his brain. He doesn't need baseball.
I hate it so much. Oh fuck! When that was going around, it's like the internal monologue thing. It's like, oh god, people just shut the fuck up, please.
Yeah, it's the internet. Very annoying, and yeah, Tumblr. They need to bring it back, just as a quarantine.
Tumblr has kind of been trying to come back. It seems like Tumblr and Blue Sky are really fighting for the same audience right now. I'm on
Yeah.
Team Blue Sky. I honestly don't even use Twitter anymore. I'm all about that fucking Blue Sky.
I wish I could, but like, I pop into like Blue Sky about once a week, and I don't know. All the best posts on there are stuff that Twitter still has more of.
Yeah. Oh, this guy is this guy, he's doing Moneyball. He's doing it in his brain, and he's like, Wesley, you don't need television. You can explore millions of worlds in your imagination because you're so smart. And then I just start swearing into my speech to text, apparently. And so I think what's actually happening is this guy is becoming sexually aroused by baseball. He's talking about baseball, and he starts foaming at the mouth, and he's like,
Yeah, you see his hands start drifting downwards. But
he's mimicking a bat.
Yeah, very very rudely interrupted mid wank.
Oh yeah. He's talking about he's like spitting. He's talking about just grand slamming himself right into his egg so that it'll explode a star. Very Freudian, incredibly Freudian episode. Wesley is trying to figure out if he has blown up the shit by being too smart with his genius idea to have two nanonites be next to one another. His mom comes down to to let loose, and it's like, oh, Wesley won't just fucking tell her that he's about to blow up, and he's having and like, oh, this is a bad time, Mom. So instead he gets like mad at her about all the expectations on him for being a gifted kid with ADHD, and then she's like, oh, you abandoned me for your incredibly prestigious job at Starfleet Medical, even though he was going to go with her, and then he chose not to in order to, I don't know, like do more science and like save a bunch of people's lives, because Wesley has saved like millions upon millions of people's lives, but just being so much better at science than everyone else. So.
He's a real wunderkind.
Real classic wunderkind stuff.
I like how Dr. Crusher, she wants him to have friends and like a girlfriend or whatever, but like
stop doing math all the time. Stop balancing differential equations and go talk to a girl.
And let's stop and like consider what that would actually be like. This Wesley Crusher would 100% like hack into a girl's like bathroom and put a fucking camera under her toilet or some shit. Like,
yeah, he did that in a previous episode, actually.
What?
Where he fucks a werewolf.
What?
Yeah. So Wesley, so he finally tells someone about his little nanite experiment. He tells his mom, and now suddenly, senior staff meeting. Everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? How does a machine evolve? And like, literally, all he did was allow two nanites to interact, which is like, does this just happen all the time? Does everyone know this? Like, oh yeah, if you let two nanites do these things, if you let them touch, they'll form a civilization. So make sure you keep these nanites very far apart from one another.
Yeah, it seems like something that probably would have happened already if it was that simple.
Well, it's like, yeah, so I imagine it just happens constantly. And people are like, oh, I created a civilization, flood my room with gamma rays, please. and it's like that Boy Scout that built, like, the nuclear reactor in his backyard and gave himself, like, super cancer. Like, that's basically what Wesley's done here. Like, oh, yeah, everyone knows about these reactions, and that everyone, and they're really easy to do, trivial even. And all Wesley has done is like just allowed like his bleach to talk to his ammonia, and oh no, it's a super hazardous material. And the only reason Wesley has access to it is because he's considered a bridge officer, which gives him like clearance over all the really dangerous science stuff. Yeah, the fucking flagship of the Federation. But the science man, and just like every person who's a guest star, is like, oh, this strange thing needs to be killed. It's getting in the way of my science. We're just starting season 3, and that's already half of all the episodes we've seen. They're talking about eradicating bacteria and viruses, like, oh, this is no different. But then, like, what? But then Picard's like, what if ChatGPT is alive? That's a whole other thing with all this fucking data shit and these like neural networks and stuff with like, oh, Elliot, did you know that Star Trek's never been more relevant today than it's never been more relevant than today? Did you know that?
That is, I'd say that's arguable.
And now they're in some new set, which is actually really cool. It's the Blade Runner computer room, and the science man comes down and he's like, the mean doctor from Scrubs comes down and he's like, hey, have you tried gamma rays? And Data's like, no, gamma rays would kill them all. And he's like, yeah, and he shines a gamma ray light bulb right at the thing before they can stop him from doing it. Oh my god, he killed all the nanites in the upper processors or whatever the fucking. Cut over to Picard, and oh my god, they're being flooded with gas. It's toxic gas, carbon monoxide, the silent killer. Except they all are coughing, or it's actually nitrogen oxide. I guess they're all doing nitrogen up on the bridge. They're all getting like really jazzed up. They've got a real head high right now. They're spinning. But it gets solved. They bring Science Man on the bridge, and they're like, "Oh, he did a genocide. All the nanites are dead. He just declared war." And they're debating who has jurisdiction to do genocide on board the ship. And then they're just like, "Aha! But sir, you have proved my argument you have proved that they're intelligent because you declared war on them, and they accepted." And Science Man is doing science in his quarters. Troy walks in, turns around, he starts hissing and screeching because a female has entered his science sanctorum. She tells him he's too emotional. He's like, "What are you talking about? I will exterminate those nanites. My hands will overflow with their blood, and I will drink over the mountain of their corpses." Because commonly, and then Troy's like, well, commonly in academia, when a person's life work has been like ended or like corrupted, not like completed, they commit suicide. I'm really worried about that for you. And he's like, I will literally kill myself and everyone else to do this science. I don't give a fuck. And like, you know, I know he's confined to his quarters right now because he did genocide, but like maybe like a 5150, you know, is like relevant for this guy with suicidal, genocidal ambitions simultaneously. So he's going completely insane. He's alone in his quarter died. He's going completely insane, imagining a baseball game play out turn by turn, like it's fucking D&D. It's just listening to something play. He's even got the crowd like cheering in his mind. It's like, aha, yes, the motherfucker steals first, and oh my god, he's going to second, and oh, he's up to bat. He's got a blah 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 batting average, and oh, thank god, he's fucking gets shot with some electricity, and a kind of creepy shot, like as a security officer is trying desperately to open his quarters, and motherfucker's just standing there eyes wide and falls forward. Like it's actually kind of scary. But even now the science guy's like, oh my god, you've got to save me, you've got to kill them, please, oh fuck, oh god, they tried to kill me. And Picard disagree, and Picard agrees. And he's like, on my signal you will gamma radiate all the microchips of the Enterprise. It's time to do some genocide. But oh my god, Data's made contact. He's made contact with the nanites through an extremely small string of binary, which is like, doesn't actually look like binary because there's a bunch of digits there's a bunch of like ones that are only like, there's a bunch of like little strings of binary that are only like 3 digits. It's like that's nothing.
There's like spaces. Yeah, it's
a lot of spaces. It's like, oh, a binary is just ones and zeros. It's the 1980s.
Yeah, it looks like they were doing like Morse code.
If it's come binary, later, like little matrix things would have started coming down, it would have been all green and stuff.
Yeah.
But the science man is so paranoid. He's like, oh, they're like, hey, you got to talk to this guy. They're like, oh, they tried to kill me. Please don't make me talk to them. Data's like, I'm going to let them infect me so that they can talk, which, I don't know, seems like a bad idea to let, like, the superpower, like, android have the nanites that are trying to kill everyone. But, yeah, whatever.
They took on this risk, very nonchalant.
Right? Yeah, it's so...
Like, alright, sounds like a good idea, Data. They've been trying to kill us for the last day, but whatever.
There's an episode in not
Your
too long where Data single-handedly commandeers the Enterprise, and it's a great scene. And so this is definitely a bad idea to give Data the fucking Enterprise.
Well, yeah, the other episode with the dying scientist, he like uploads his brain to Data.
Yeah. God, we're really bringing you on for some. You're really brought you on for two.
A lot of tropes, a lot of TV tropes in this show.
You know, it's like poetry. It rhymes. You know, many people are saying this about Star Trek. But yeah, and also they can like directly communicate with one another. So like, why do they need to infect Data? But whatever. They got out of the Blade Runner room and started administering a void comp test. They've infiltrated Data. Then Brett Spiner, he gets to do some acting. He's method acting as Colony of Nanites. Luckily, improv has prepared it for this exact scenario. Yeah. The nanites say, "Oh, we were exploring. We needed raw materials. We've invented this kind of system of medium state competition, which where an individual may thrive on maximizing their holdings, but we must pursue more and more because capital must grow. Yeah. So we need to find new worlds, so to speak, to new resources to exploit, so we can explore." But they seem very affable. They agreed to not kill the guy that genocided probably hundreds of billions of them. Apparently, they've already evolved beyond the need for the Enterprise, and they gave him a planet, thus creating a more dangerous of the Borg in 2 years as they disassemble and reassemble that entire planet into a gigantic ship that will roam the cosmos, consuming planets and stars alike until it's the only thing.
Do they ever
Nope.
circle back on this?
Nope. Nope.
Well, I'm sure everything worked out great.
Apparently everything worked out just. I mean, hey, listen, this happens every single time you let two nanites talk, and presumably that's been going on for a while. So, someone's doing something about this. Someone's doing something about all these nanite planets.
There's got to be like a warning label on these nanites. First of all, California Prop 65. There's cancer in these nanites. And then do not put two nanites together. You will cause the end of civilization.
Thanks to Wesley. It's like these nanites are known by the state of California to cause a gray goo end of the world scenario. Please do not allow interaction. What if they could talk? What if they could work together? Okay, so they agree. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna give a planet to these nanites." And finally, the guy gets to slip in his egg and explode. So he's very happy. He gets to collect a bunch of data because he's a science man. It's just like baseball, you see. It's all in your head, and no one plays it anymore because it's too boring. Like playing a Dungeons and Dragons in campaign, if you're mind, you fucking moron. Like, holy shit, it's gonna be more fun than baseball. And guess what? It's also turn-based. But it's revealed that the guy is so they talk to Guinan, and Trusher talks to Guinan, and she's immortal, so she's had a lot of children, which literally never comes up again. But apparently one of them is really bad at listening, and so they're a species of listeners. So I guess he was like their Hitler or something. And then there's a cute little ending scene where Crusher sees her kid flirting with some attractive young lady. Those are the words that she used, not me. And she's like, oh, that's very healthy for his age. Wait, who's that bitch? What's her deal? Get him away from my baby. Episode ends.
Yeah, except weirdly, it's the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Oh, Elliot, I'm so happy to bring you back on for the same episode every single time. We'll make sure to have you. There's another one that's really reminds me of.
God.
D Space Nine. We'll have to have you on for that one too.
I mean, a lot of this too is like the reason old TV is so often so underwhelming is like they're doing like 30 episodes per season of these. Like the quality is just naturally not going to be as tight as a modern 10-episode prestige drama.
Yeah, so now we've been saying this for a while, but it does end up, even on an episode-by-episode basis, it ends up actually being pretty good. it ends up working out to be pretty okay at some points. It's like season 3 is supposed to be where that one starts, but it's like, oh fuck, what like okay, the next episode. Let's see the next episode. It's oh my god, the next episode is actually a good one. Holy shit. Well,
We'll have fun with that.
We've had. I mean, so the writer's strike happened last time, and so that was a real fucking stinker. And this one comes along, and you know what? We'll go back to our old favorite. Elliot, out of 100 billion genocided nanites in the upper core of the Enterprise, how would you rate this episode?
Out of 100 billion?
Out of 100 billion.
Oh, give it 40 billion nanites.
What? Give me your. Why 40 billion? That's quite a lot of nanites.
Well, out of 100 billion, it's really not that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's practically a genocide.
Mm-hmm. Practically so. Yeah. What do you think? Give me your thoughts.
This was a bad episode. This one, this might be the worst one I've watched yet, to be honest. Because previous the season 1 stuff was bad, but in an interesting way. And this one, this episode did nothing for me. I was bored out of my fucking mind. I was checking my phone, I just wasn't feeling the villain and wasn't feeling protagonist Wesley at all.
Yeah, well, I rewatch Star Trek regularly, but not early TNG, and I go back to season 3 fairly often, and this one I skip. I don't go back to this one basically ever.
Yeah. I
really
like
poor showing for the start of season 3.
It would be interesting to get out a stopwatch and see, because I feel like Picard, Riker is barely in this episode.
That's true.
And yeah, I mean, Data gets a little bit of screen time, but really not that much. Picard, I mean, even as the star of the show, is kind of not really. I don't know. There's just and anything that the main crew members do, it's all very just procedural.
Yeah. I was looking at IMDb trivia just now for this episode, and I was gonna be like, what? The Dalai Lama visited the set during this episode. No, it's the next one that the Dalai Lama visited. I was actually looking at the next one.
They needed his help.
Yeah. Hey, Dalai Lama, could you please write this episode of network television for us? We were on strike for 150 days. Oh my god! Wow. What a long strike. That's
about as long as the current one has gone, I believe. Or maybe I think the current one's a little bit less than that.
Well, but it was weird because when I was looking up the 1989 writers' strike on Wikipedia, there was an article that said the end of the first one, it's it lasted for 51 days longer than the current strike. It's what? What? The current strike's not over. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's someone updating that every single day, and then they just are able to stop when the strike stops.
Probably.
What? Why would you do this?
Yeah, that's a pointless task to assign to yourself.
Wikipedia editors, they're built different, let me tell you.
They really are. And I mean,
they play baseball in their mind. That's okay. They're on another level, you see.
They're the kind of freaks that are holding society on their shoulders in a lot of ways. So I do have to I'm sure most Wikipedia editors would not be pleasant people to be around, but they are at this point
of our society.
Yeah, at this point they really are. Without Wikipedia in today's climate of information, just that would truly be like a post-truth society.
Oh yeah, honestly, my mom always talks about like, oh yeah, I had to use the Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Oh no.
I had to use the Encyclopedia Britannica to find out my shit. You just look up any of the fucking thing you want. It is kind of remarkable that society is like this. Man, I went through the whole fucking IMDb trivia, and there is nothing even remotely interesting about.
Yeah, this episode was just a collective, just everyone subconsciously agreed to just pretend it didn't happen.
No, there's no mention of like the writer's strike affecting it. There's just nothing, which is something that we were dealing with like throughout the entirety of season 2. I'd go into the IMDb trivia, and it's just a fucking barren wasteland. It's someone like calculating the date and being like, oh yeah, this episode takes place in 2338. It's like, cool, thanks. You know how the completely bullshit system of fucking star dates that they say at the beginning of every episode. You know how that works. And how they actually do the star dates is somewhat interesting. It's a 4, and then it's the season that they're on, and then it's like a random number that like kind of correlates to like the part of the season that the episode takes place in. And that's kind of interesting. Whatever. This episode sucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But holy shit. Well, yeah. Give me a rating. Let me rate this episode. This is the hardest part of every left trick.
Out of what?
Out of anything. Out of anything. You make the metric. You're in control.
It was bad. I didn't like it. Thumbs down.
No, give me a rating. Give me a rating system.
Oh, give you a rating system. Out of innings in a baseball game, how many home runs would you give it?
I'm gonna say that this one was just an absolute stomp for the victor. It was three. They called it after 3 innings. It was over. So a 0 out of 3.
All right.
It's some like ridiculous score. It's like 47-2 in the 3rd inning, and then they just call it mercy rule.
It starts raining.
Last baseball game I ever went to was kind of like that. I saw the Padres fight the takes me a second every time. It's not the 49ers, it's the Giants, which are also a football team.
Yeah.
But it's and the Padres just fucking dominated the Giants. just absolutely fucking crushed them. Like, we got there late and we left early. It was just such a fucking wash. But don't worry, baseball will go extinct. And you know what? It is. They've got this fucking. Have you been paying attention to baseball recently? And they got this pitch clock thing that's like insane.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they added like a shot clock to baseball. I don't fully understand it.
It's wild. It's literally like it literally was just added to speed up games. So you know what? Maybe Star Trek was right, and maybe the real downfall of baseball was that was the manager system. They tried to make the game faster and faster, and it was just fucking boring. Baseball sucks. Here's a plug. Check out the YouTube channel. Baseball Isn't Real. Great channel. You want to be familiar with all the bullshit that's going on in baseball? That's a good one.
That's real?
Yeah, it's called Baseball Isn't Real. It's honestly a great channel. I really like it.
Oh.
Well, fuck Elliot. That's left track, I suppose.
That's the left track.
That's a left track. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
I have a YouTube show called Internet Today. I still on Twitter, or X, the Everything app.
Oh God.
At EliotETC, and possibly soon. I got with my industry connections. I got a free Starfield, and I think I might stream it. I haven't started playing it yet, but I haven't Twitch streamed in a very long time.
Oh wow.
I streamed myself playing Fallout New Vegas a few years back, and that was really fun to do that as a community. So I might do that with Starfield.
Streaming is fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. It'll be. And I'm betting it'll be exactly the same quality as Fallout New Vegas.
Well, we'll see. But it's also I think I want to do it streaming because otherwise I will absolutely sabotage my entire fucking life playing like 12 hours a day of that game. So if I resolve to only play it on stream, like I will, that will force me to take breaks and not just play that fucking game all day.
Have you played Baldur's Gate yet?
No, that's another one. People keep telling me I'd love it. I'm like, well, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, everyone, you know it's amazing. Everyone says it's amazing. It's a great game.
I regret to inform you, Eric, that the Firaxis Marvel Tactics game, Marvel Midnight Suns, is
I've seen you
really good.
I've seen you
It's
playing
fucking
that
great. Yeah,
it's not the one where you can like date people. You can like date Doctor Strange or Spider-Man or something.
It has dating sim mechanics, but there's no romance. It's like friendship simulator.
Oh boo! I'd rather extremely unerotic cutscenes of two models like stiffly rolling at each other like they have in Baldur's Gate 3.
There's innuendos though. Like you can definitely headcanon it. Like I've taken Doctor Strange on some like quiet walks a few times.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. The story aspect of it was really, really annoying at first, but like I kind of love it now. I'm not even into fucking Marvel, but like I think they did a really good job, like with the characters, and also the gameplay mechanic is just so fucking addictive.
Well, that's Elliot's plug for Marvel Midnight Sun, and my plug for Baldur's Gate 3. You're probably already playing it, and if you're not, why not? Go play it. It's good. It's good. That's to you too. Go play Baldur's Gate 3.
Go play a game.
It's so good. Don't play Starfield. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you not play Fallout 4? Do you not know what shit they're up to recently? I'm talking to the audience, not you. But I guess I'm also talking to you. Did you play Fallout 4?
Yes.
It sucked. Well, fuck. Hey, that's Left Track, folks. Fuck you, rival podcast. The Seventh Rule. What are my other clothing businesses? Oh, like and subscribe. Okay, bye.